The Battle of the Atlantic was not a single clash. It was a long war of logistics, fought in cold water, heavy weather, and long darkness. Germany's U-boats were designed to exploit the one vulnerability that could break the Allies: supply lines. If Britain could be starved, the war would tilt. If Soviet convoys could be cut, the Eastern Front could collapse. The U-boat was the weapon built for that purpose. A U-boat was not a battleship, it was a hunter. It spent most of its life submerged, listening and waiting. It surfaced at night to recharge batteries and to attack. Early in the war, this worked brutally well. Convoys were thinly protected. The North Atlantic had huge gaps in air coverage, and the Allies were still learning how to track a submarine. The U-boat commanders exploited this weakness. Germany organized attacks into wolf packs. A single boat would spot a convoy, report the position, and shadow it, while others were directed to converge. The goal was not a clean duel. The goal was overload. So many torpedoes and threats that escorts could not respond fast enough. This method turned the ocean into a killing field. In 1940 and 1941, the numbers were terrifying. Merchants were being sunk faster than they could be replaced. Fuel, food, and war materials were at risk. The U-boats were so effective that they forced Britain into a constant state of emergency. The Atlantic was not just a sea route. It was the artery that kept Britain alive. The advantages of the U-boats were not just tactical, they were technical. German submarines had skilled crews, disciplined command, and strong torpedoes. The ocean gave them room to hide, and early Allied sonar had short range and weak resolution. Escorts were few, and they often had to protect multiple ships over huge distances. The U-boats could strike, disappear, and strike again. But the ocean is a long war, and the Allies adapted. Convoy systems were refined. Escorts multiplied. New destroyers, corvettes, and frigates entered service specifically for anti-submarine warfare. Allied aircraft began patrolling farther from shore, and escort carriers followed convoys with fighter cover. The most dangerous zone, the mid-Atlantic air gap, slowly closed. Technology shifted the balance. Sonar improved. Radar made surface detection possible at night and through clouds. High-frequency direction finding could locate U-boat transmissions. Depth charges became more effective. Hedgehog mortars gave escorts a forward-firing weapon that increased kill probability. Intelligence was a turning point. When the Allies broke Enigma, they could read U-boat communications and reroute convoys away from the densest hunting grounds. That advantage did not last forever, but when it worked, it saved entire convoys. The ocean began to favor the hunters of the hunters. By 1943, the U-boat fleet faced a crisis. Losses climbed, while successes fell. Germany could not replace crews at the pace they were being lost. The Atlantic had turned from a hunting ground into a trap. U-boats were still dangerous, but the strategic balance was breaking against them. Yet the human story is what makes this battle so haunting. U-boat crews operated in claustrophobic metal tubes, submerged for days, hunted by sonar, shaken by depth charges. Allied sailors in convoys faced cold seas, fires, and long nights, knowing that torpedoes could strike without warning. The Atlantic was a war of endurance as much as tactics. In the end, the U-boats did not break the Allied supply lines. Instead, the Allies broke the U-boat threat with a layered system of convoys, escorts, air power, intelligence, and industrial scale. It was not one miracle weapon that won the Atlantic. It was persistent adaptation and relentless production. The U-boat story is a lesson in modern warfare. Stealth and surprise can win battles, but logistics and intelligence decide wars. The Atlantic wolves were feared for a reason, but the ocean finally turned against them. If you want more WWII engineering breakdowns with real historical images, subscribe to Moments Before Zero.